It's not fluffy. It's not polite. It's not a list that you write because someone told you to be positive. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. And this is where introverted leaders and entrepreneurs learn to amplify their presence, profit from their purpose, and lead without compromising their peace. And I am Stephanie Oden, and today we're talking about gratitude. We're talking about gratitude as a power source, a way to regulate your mind, your body, and your nervous system so that your entire perspective starts to shift. Something I heard a long time ago that really stuck with me, and it was you can't be grateful and grumpy at the same time. And even as high achievers, we need to be reminded of that as well because we're human. We have those moments. And this is something I think you really need to hear so that you can navigate through this season where emotions are high, we're extroverting a lot, and we might just forget to practice some gratitude. So let's jump into today's episode, shall we? Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. We're not shy, timid, or needing to be fixed. We're an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AFF. Absolutely fabulous and feisty. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, and this is where introverted leaders and entrepreneurs can learn to amplify their presence, profit from their purpose, and lead without compromising their peace. And I'm your host, Stephanie Oden. Today, we are talking about gratitude. Not the fluffy kind, not the polite kind, not the list you write because someone told you to make a list and just be positive. Although that's good too, right? That does work too. However, we're talking about gratitude as a power source. And I know this firsthand. It's a frequency reset, and it's also a path to abundance. It's not just about being thankful, although I've told this to people, and you may have heard me say it as well. Is you can't be grateful and grumpy at the same time. It just doesn't work. It's like light and dark don't both exist at the same time. Neither does grumpy and gratitude. Gratitude is not just being thankful. There's actually a neuroscience associated with it. Now, if you've listened to some of my episodes, or maybe you don't know, maybe this is your first time tuning in, but I am a geek about neuroplasticity, like neuroscience. I think if I were to do things over, I would really study that because the way the brain works is so fascinating to me. And one of my favorite people on the topic is Dr. Caroline Leaf. Look her up. She wrote some good stuff. So look her up. When you take notice of something that you're grateful for, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. These are neurotransmitters that create happy, they create calm, they create this sense of emotional well-being. And the more you practice gratitude, the more your brain creates racetracks that look for more things to be grateful for instead of things that are negative because we have a tendency, and the media doesn't help and the programming doesn't help. We have a tendency to look for things that are negative. I don't know why that works like that, but unless we do something different, that is what happens. Now, the more you look for something good, the more you will find something good. Gratitude is a frequency all on its own. It can literally shift your day. It can shift the energy in a room. And it's something that can actually rewire your leadership, like rewiring gratitude into your practice, into your mind as a go to. affects your leadership. You are more creative, you get more confidence, you have better decision making, you shift your whole world. And having said that, I would say it's more than a feeling. I would call it a strategy. I would call it a strategy. I want to share a lesson with you from my own inner work. That's the best way. Really the only way I know how to share with transparency and authenticity is to look at my own journey and hope that someone is inspired by, maybe they see themselves in my story or they see themselves as on the other side of a journey. There was a period when I was angry. I was angry that I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I was angry that things weren't going the way they should. I was angry because things weren't going right at work the way I thought they should be. I was not liking things. I know things is not, it's not the itemized word, but you know what I mean. It's like, I don't like this. And I felt stuck. I felt stuck. So let me help you relate. Imagine you're standing in a long hallway and the lights are off. You know that there are opportunities behind those doors. Like this is not a place that I'm talking about that I had not done any personal development work. I'm a personal development person, right? I thrive on that and I'm much better than I used to be. And I love the person that I'm becoming. But there's a journey. So you got this long hallway. So imagine it. And you imagine that the lights are off in the hallway. And there's several doors. There's a door of possibility. There's a door of restoration. There's a door of next steps. There's a door of breakthroughs. But everything looks dim. It's like you can't see where to reach next. It just looks dim and fuzzy. And for me, that's what life feels like when I'm overly stressed, and stress is having a heyday and running the show, right? When my brain is in a survival mode, and you think about me talking about I was angry and I was stuck and I didn't like where I was, all of those, that's dim. And it's especially for us when everything around me, it felt loud, it felt extra heavy because I was in that place. Here's the shift. Gratitude isn't the flashlight, it's the lights. A flashlight lets you see only a little bit at a time. A light switch, on the other hand, turns everything on. That's how I feel about the power of gratitude. The moment you start to practice gratitude, your brain stops scanning for danger and it starts scanning for support. It starts scanning for what's the possibility here. It starts looking for what could go right. You can actually see moments that you couldn't see before. And it does calm your nervous system and it does allow your mind to clear. Now, it doesn't make everything, great and doesn't solve all the things, but it shifts the perspective and it allows you to move from panic to being present and move from fear to what is the possibility of this? What is the possibility here? And the one that absolutely I have seen over and over and over in myself and in those that I work with, it shifts from an overwhelm to this grounded awareness. I like what Maya Angelou said. She said, when we give cheerfully and we accept gratefully, everyone is blessed. And so there's a whole piece of gratitude that actually blesses the perception. Like it blesses our whole inner world. It blesses the way you move through challenges. It blesses the ideas that come. It blesses the creativity. When you are in a state of gratitude, you're able to see things that you couldn't see before, that you're able to see perspectives that you couldn't see. Let's talk about this a little deeper because this is where gratitude becomes super leadership level powerfully. And I mentioned this a little earlier. Our brain has a negative bias. It's wired to protect us. It's wired to notice threats first. That's why sometimes it's things maybe that have been in our past that we have a negative experience about that shows up as danger, danger, don't do that, don't go there, don't say this, because we've had that experience and our brain's like, "Oh, we need to protect you at all costs." And this is also why we can have 10 good things happen in our day, but our mind will want to go back to and replay the conversation that didn't go as we expected. That's a natural tendency. Now, when you pause and you say, let me take just one breath and notice what I'm grateful for. And I'm not talking a complicated gratitude practice, right? There are things that I do on a daily basis that complement it, but I'm talking about in the heat of the moment when you're like, I need a moment. Take a breath and notice what is one thing that I'm grateful for? What is one thing I see that I'm grateful for? What is one thing that I hear that I'm grateful for? What is one thing that I can feel it physically touch that I'm grateful for? Your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. And this is what happens: lower anxiety and improved emotional steadiness. And you're now open to being able to see solutions. Gratitude, I'm telling you, it doesn't make life perfect. You don't even have to pretend like life is perfect. Life has a way of lifing and throat punching and all the thing. I am someone who is not immune to that. I will tell you though that I have seen it over and over and over. It shifts you from survival into this state of creative intelligence. It shifts things. Learn to be thankful for what you already have while you pursue all that you want. Jim Rohn said that. And I say that because that is a sweet spot, especially as you're evolving into the leader, and you might not be the leader you want to be yet. So you're evolving as an entrepreneur. You're not quite at the levels that you want to be at with your business, your part-time gig. You'd like to be a full-time gig, but you're not there yet. I want to encourage you to be thankful for what you already have while you pursue all that you want, because in creating that space of thankfulness, you make yourself attractive. And I know it may sound hokey, okay? It might sound hokey, but it works. There's a vibrational frequency for what it is that you want. And when you're thankful for what you already have, you're creating energy that attracts more of the things that you want. It's a sweet spot though. It's like being anchored in gratitude while still moving towards growth. Being anchored in gratitude while you're still moving towards your growth. Gratitude is a higher frequency, like every single time. Gratitude on the good days, appreciation. Gratitude on the hard days, that's alignment. Not every day is going to be a good day. Not every day will you feel like being grateful. When a day feels heavy, gratitude steadies you. When a relationship feels strained, gratitude softens the walls around your heart. It's like sending love to that person, being thankful for that person. Even though you may not like what happened or what they did, still, gratitude softens the walls and allows you to see the value that that person brings to you when money is tight. I've been here when money is tight. Gratitude expands your awareness so that you can see solutions that you might not have noticed before, how to make things stretch farther. Gratitude really is the healthiest of all human emotions. It literally protects your mind from spiraling into fear. It protects your mind. It brings you power. It lifts you out of lack. It reminds you that you are supported. And sometimes that support might be you supporting yourself, but it reminds you that you're supported. And it helps your subconscious to shift out of fear and to faith. When you move from that fear to a faith, your next step becomes illuminated. What is my gratitude practice like? One of the things I do every day is I write things that I'm thankful for. I start with that. And it could be ahas, it can be physical, it could be people, it could be whatever. I just do a journaling to say I am grateful. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and I don't try to make it fancy. It's my journal, but it elevates me. I focus on my faith. I focus on where are solutions and opportunities. I focus on where I've come from. I focus on the possibilities. And sometimes in my gratitude journal, I'm thanking for what hasn't come yet, but I'm just believing that I'm in alignment with it. Let me give you some before I give you some simple shifts. It doesn't have to be something you do in the morning. You make it your own. Find a way to be grateful. Let me give you three simple questions plus a bonus. So I guess that makes it four that you can use to shift your state in less than 1 minute. One question. What is one thing I'm grateful for right now that I did not notice this morning? You're in the heat of the day. They have just worked on your last nerve. You're absolutely done peopling and you're about to snap and you're like, oh, shift. What is one thing I'm grateful for right now that I didn't notice this morning? Number two, what strength in myself deserves gratitude today? Number three, what is one thing that is supporting me in this season that I'm grateful for, even if it is small? I know one, and I'll share that here in a little bit. One thing that's supporting me in this season, even if it's small. And here's a bonus. This one might be a little bit harder than the other ones, especially if you're navigating a situation and you're the one that's doing your best to bring calm to the situation. Or you feel you're in a situation that you really want to be angry, like you really want to be grumpy. Here's what you can do. You can say, what about this situation? Although it's not good, can I find good in it? And for that, I will be grateful. These questions, they can help you flip on the light switch like I talked about with my hallway. They can bring your energy back. They elevate your energy. Like you can do these. If you have to go to your car or go to the bathroom or just find a corner somewhere, they will help to bring your energy back. Regulate your mind so that you're back in that place of thinking clearly again. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. And they allow you to lead from presence instead of pressure. That's why I feel like it's so important as a leader and as an entrepreneur that you really start to embody gratitude as a practice, as a strategy, because it is a tool that will help you when you're leading people, when you're having conversations about your products, your services, or your opportunities. And Joseph Murphy wrote The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I really like what he said. He said, the feeling of gratitude is the most powerful prayer you can offer because it aligns your mind with possibility and not limitation. And one of the downloads that came to me as part of my faith walk, many of you know my faith walk as a follower of Christ. The one that just set on me was gratitude is an act of worship, because sometimes that's all I have to bring. Gratitude is all I have to bring. I'm out of ideas. I don't know which way to go. I don't have all the answers. But I bring my gratitude. I bring my thankfulness. That is an act of worship. Here's a bonus for you. I said I'd mention one of the things and one of the tools that I use. And if you want, hey, it's up to you. It's one of the things I do. It's great for this. You don't need it to start a gratitude practice. I don't want you to say you don't have all the things to start a gratitude practice. Literally, you can start with a journal and start writing out things that you're thankful for. And at the same time, if you want a simple way to practice gratitude, like every day inside your routines, inside your leadership, inside your mindset, I encourage you to try out the Let's Go app. It's a simple, magical morning. I call it a magical morning app because it has all the things that we need for a success mindset. And you know, I talk about that quite a bit on here. It lets you track your habits, your gratitude moments. It lets you journal. It lets you create your intentions. It lets you do mindset resets, like right there. And you can be on your desktop or on, on the go, right? Because one of the things you might find is like, okay, I can't remember those questions Stephanie told me. You can actually take those questions, stick them in your app, go find you a place, and go through those questions. It's simple, it's clean. It's one of the ways that you can stay anchored. I believe in doing your best to stay anchored all day, because that is one of the ways for me, or for people like me, or some of us. If we can stay anchored, that is a way for us to manage our energy, because we're not doing the ups and downs. But this is a way for us to manage our energy. As I finish up this podcast episode on gratitude, I just want to leave you with these and encourage you to start a gratitude practice, however you need to start it. Gratitude changes the brain. Gratitude shifts energy. Gratitude opens doors. But most importantly, and what I have found, is that gratitude brings me back to myself. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. I'll see you in the next episode. That's it for this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know any insights that you had from this episode. I would love to hear your takeaways. Remember to head to my website, grab a copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created for you. And join us next week. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. See you next time.